All right, welcome back to Vicky 3 Academy. I'm Walker, and we're discussing what may end up being the last of the critical technology series. We'll see. But I just wanted to do like a capstone and discuss level 5 technologies. So I could go through and highlight individual level 5 technologies, and if you'd like me to, I could. But I think that the most important thing that I can tell you is that A, by the time you're getting to level 5 critical technologies, unless you're playing in multiplayer, if you're playing in multiplayer, then you've got like different pulls going on, but you're probably going to be stronger than everybody else in the game by the time you get down here if you're playing in single player, even with AI mods, because like you're the player, you're gonna outpace the AI. In terms of production, the level 5 production technologies are a little disappointing, actually. They're not bad. They are not bad. They are just ways to shuffle resources around. But, like, the game has been providing that to you all throughout your development up to this point. And so having just slightly more and different ways to shuffle resources around is not as critical at this point. Compression ignition is good. It gives you automation. It gives you ways to get more people working on the same number of plots of land when it comes to like iron or lead, right? Because if you have diesel pumps on a lead mine, you can get a lot more out of a 20 plot of lead than out of a non-diesel pump. But like it's not that big a deal. You can survive without this. Same with arc welding. Very, very strong. Very, very strong. But it's not, is it so much stronger than steel frame buildings that you need to prioritize it? Not really. And it's level 5, so it's going to come along a lot later anyways. And like all these are kind of in the same boat where they're all helpful, but none of them are critical. And so I'm not highlighting any of those. Same with society techs, really. It's not as though these are like disappointing technologies. It's just that they don't really do anything critical. They mostly just do like flavor. I think the most helpful out of all of them, depending on the circumstances for you, is probably going to be modern financial instruments, because by the time that you get down to here, you hopefully are going to have ways to stack loan interest rate down to basically zero or to literal zero, at which point you can build infinitely. But like even that, although it sounds like, all right, you can build infinitely and rely on credit forever, it's not even as strong as it sounds, because eventually you're going to run out of peasants, and so you can build as much as you want, but if you don't have pops to work those jobs, then it's not that big a deal. Behaviorism's okay, because like all of these bureaucracy population cost multipliers from psychology techs, they all kind of stack, and so you can govern a lot more pops using them, but like not critical. I think the only things that I would highlight as being particularly critical when it comes to level 5 techs are the military techs, and that's sort of like a flavor win, I think, right? Like a lot of the Industrial Revolution, it was originally civilian, but then as economies grew and transformed, the focus of capital shifted into a military industrial complex. And that's kind of what we see in our technology. Like the level 5 military technologies are, I think, a lot more impactful than the level 5 other ones. And so if you're going to focus anywhere and get anything from this critical technology tier 5 video, then what I want to tell you is don't neglect your military coming up to tier 5. Some of these are really, really, really good. Like Trenchworks is outrageous. I might still do a video on landing craft because that one's also really, really good. But that would be like a minute. That might be an April Fool's one. I don't know. But level 5, these are good. These are genuinely good. Concrete fortifications getting 40% army defense. So 40% army defense, it scales, right, based off of the base army defense that you're working with. And so it's not that impactful if you have like line infantry or irregulars or whatever. But if you're running around with trench infantry who have like military aviation backup and machine gun backup or something like that, your concrete fortification, they're basically going to be unbreakable troops without tanks. And so concrete fortifications, that's an A plus level 5 military tech. It also doesn't cost any more resources. So if I were to make this about anything, it would probably be that. But there are some really really good other level 5 military techs. Military aviation is very powerful by giving you access to aerial reconnaissance, which is going to dramatically increase your ability to capture territory, especially if you're using national militia and conscripts there. But it can also unlock your ability to get the aerial hero trait on your generals, which is another nice big buff. Mobile armor, of course, unlocks tanks and therefore mechanized infantry, and therefore lets you actually break through people using concrete fortifications. Chemical warfare lets you get war crimes if you want to do that. These are a lot of very powerful technologies that you get right at the end of the game, or, you know, depending on how fast you rush technology in the 1890s or whatever. And they will give you an enormous advance over your opponents. The only thing that might be holding back the level 5 military technology is the behavior of enemies in Diplo plays. If you're too much stronger than they are and you mobilize too much, everyone's going to just back down all the time. So just, like, you know, be careful what you wish for. If you create an invincible army, then you'll never have anyone to use it against outside of multiplayer. And that's the other thing I want to highlight here, is that not only in multiplayer are you going to have a better idea of, like, which of the level 5 production technologies are actually useful for you, right? Like, compression ignition is very, very good if you only have a couple of spots of coal because all the other players have taken it. But, like, generally speaking, I imagine that these tier 5 military techs are going to be the things that people are going to focus on towards the end of the game, if they're going to focus on anything in particular in terms of technology. I know that the rest of these critical technology videos have been highlighting specific things, and there are some specific technologies that are going to be particularly useful, but I think a lot of these things are kind of interchangeable. By the time that you get to this, you're going to be so much stronger that you no longer need to prioritize things, which is what the Critical Technology series is really about. That is about helping you prioritize the things that are going to make you stronger, and these aren't going to make you stronger. These are just going to let you dunk on, like, the 8-year-olds trying to play basketball with you. Okay, yeah, that's Walker, and that's Critical Technology Tier 5 technologies. All right, take care.